What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Mint City Soccer Show. I'm Corey Insco, and I'm here so excited to talk about Charlotte FC soccer with my good buddy Matt Swift. Matt, how you doing?
Man, that's a lot of energy for a loss. I like it though.
I'm trying something different. I'm trying something a little different. I'm going to bring some positive energy.
I like it.
To what is not. There's not a lot of positivity to be had around. So I'm just going to pretend like we're being positive.
Let's see how far it can take us.
Yeah, like what better thing could we be doing right now than talking about a 1-0 loss in the 7th minute of stoppage time to the New England Revolution on Saturday? I mean, what better day could you have right now to be doing this?
Yeah, exactly. Let's really get into it and tease out some funness. Yeah, that was brutal, man. Really brutal.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it was. I know you had your Kentucky Derby party, so at least you had a fun celebration before that, and another come from behind win at the very finish in the Kentucky Derby, but a more exciting and fun one than the one that happened a few hours later.
Yeah,
but excitement to go around in both places.
Yeah, I had about 15 mint juleps, so the game I was like, "Woo, life is good, man." Yeah, and then towards the end, the hangover was kicking in, and I'm like, "Oh boy." Rough. But
yeah, I mean, it's been not a lot of positivity to talk about with this team. So I guess we'll kind of dig into the match itself, but maybe kind of more on the bigger picture of how things are going, and not to give a little teaser for people later. I think Matt says he's cracked the code on what we're doing wrong. Not that he didn't say he has a solution. He just knows the problem. So that'd be my teaser for that later.
Yes, I only play a professional on the internet. So just keep that in mind as I tell you my solution to things.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, this is 4 straight losses, 3 straight in MLS for the Crown. Really rough stretch. I mean, the only positive, I guess, if we're looking at positives, is we get back home this Saturday and have that home stretch, which it feels like even more important after this recent run. But yeah, I mean, we've been outscored 11-3, if I'm doing quick math right, over the last 4 matches, and really has been pretty. So again, we'll kind of get into the bigger picture of everything, but just looking at this match, I know we had some injury issues, as far as the back line and things like that. But kind of looking at starting lineup and how we came out at the beginning of the match, how did you feel about things coming into this one and as things got started up in New England?
I was hoping just one to play better. The lineup almost kind of picked itself. I thought it was interesting that Dean did go back to Gianni. It seems like kind of a revolving door there. We have talked about how it's good to have options against different teams, but so really no surprises considering some of the injuries we have. And I gotta say, the first 15 minutes or so, I was like, "Oh, look at us go!" Like I was actually really, really pleased with the way we were moving the ball through the middle of the field, possessing the ball, and really was on kind of like the front foot. And it was very positive stuff. And I would even say throughout the whole first half, I thought we looked pretty good. We'll talk about our chances and not finishing those, but for the most part, man, I was actually really pleased with the first half.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, I think I said this in various places, but I felt like this was one of the better played matches we've had of the past run of matches. Just from we talked about this in the last episode. The live episode was, the energy is something I mentioned, that I felt like we've come out in a lot of matches flat, slow, not aggressive, not being able to even string 2 passes together, getting beat on every kind of contested ball, all that kind of stuff. And it felt like this match, we actually came out, like you said, with some positivity, with some energy, creating some chances, going after it a little bit. So yeah, I felt really good about what I was seeing, because I honestly came into this match being like, let's just try to get a draw and get back home. I mean, with the way things are going, like I'm not really expecting a win here with the beat up back line and Carlos Heel running like crazy against that defense. But let's just get a draw and get lucky and try to get back home. And after the first half of this match, I was like, this we can win this match. We're playing well enough. We are playing well enough, both defensively and building up some attack to win this match. And so I was feeling pretty good about where things were at that point.
If you look at this game in a silo, you take out the games before it. Mm-hmm. This is, losing the game. We'll talk about the goal and everything like that and when it came and the PK and all that stuff.
Sure.
But if you take this at face value, to me, I can't be too upset about this. We'll talk about chances, missed chances, maybe not enough chances, that whole thing. And that's perfectly valid. But on the whole, like, I thought this was a game that should have been a draw. We should have got a point. I think we deserved a point. Yep. And then get out of there. But I think if you stack this one with the other ones before it, then it doesn't. It kind of loses its luster a little bit. But I got to say, if you're going to lose, this is the type of losses that I can stomach a little more.
Sure.
Not the 4-1 loss to Orlando. Not the two, the loss in Open Cup. I can't do that. This type of stuff I can bear.
Yeah, no, I think you're absolutely right. I mean, that's really good context. Is we are probably reacting more strongly to it because of what has led up to this. But in isolation, playing a good New England team on the road, the New England team is playing pretty well right now, and really just kind of bad luck and call and whatever you want to call it at the end there that makes it not a draw.
Let me ask you this, Corey, real quick.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this: if I were to ask you, hey, we're playing 4 games back to back on the road, would you be okay with 4 points? Basically a draw every match. Would you be okay with that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So if we would have got a draw, even though we've played bad, we would have had 4 points in this stretch.
It's true.
I mean, we only got 3, but and did not play well. Let's say that, and the competition level was at least, well, one of those games was Open Cup, but
sure.
So I
see what you're saying. I think if we had played better in especially Orlando and Nashville, if those had been better, especially Orlando. I think Orlando is the one to me that just really
exactly
sticks out. Now Orlando went on and beat Miami. Like Orlando's figured something out all of a sudden, which good for them. But that Orlando loss, and even though it was Open Cup, the Atlanta loss, I think were such disheartening losses.
It was.
Nashville was a bad loss, but Nashville's a very good team, and we showed some fight in that one here and there. I'm not as mad about that one. Yeah. But the loss to Orlando and the loss to Atlanta were really rough. So yeah, points wise, we're not much worse than maybe I would have liked to have had in this road stretch. But what I think was more concerning to me was the way we played in some of those matches. That started to concern me a little bit. But you're right. I mean, it's a tough part of the season to have that many away matches, especially with a lot of midweek matches thrown in the middle there.
Yeah.
That's a tough stretch. Absolutely. So, we got one of the 4, we got 3 points out of it, and we come back home and have a really important stretch here in May to try to have some really strong momentum going into the World Cup break. So
yeah, I think we said this last episode, but this stretch will really tell me kind of where we are as a team, like fully.
Yeah.
So
you mentioned on the starting lineup, Gianni. We've kind of rotated who that person is that plays that role. Do we just need to start Gianni? Because I think I'm in the camp that, and this might start to spoil your I've solved all the problems talk that we're going to have later. But like for every reason, we seem to be much more solid or play better, anecdotally, in my mind, when Gianni's starting. And so at this point, I love Bronico. I love seeing him out there. But right now, it feels like this team plays better when Gianni's out there.
Yeah, it's a tough one because, we talked about it. I don't see a scenario where you can have Westwood, Luca Del Torre, and Pep Biel on midfield at the same time. There's just not enough defense there.
Yeah.
Westwood and Brandt, Westwood, Gianni, and we're going to talk about something in a little bit that I think I found where kind of maybe the issue is, but this is part of it. Whoever is paired with Westwood has to be able to do two things. They have to be able to play defense, and they have to be able to control and move the ball. That's a special kind of player. You know, Westwood is more of your drop back quarterback, play the ball, you know, ping it over the top, get us going. But who, you know, when he has the ball, who's that? What's that next pass? Can you get it to Pep? Because that's kind of the problem too. And again, we'll go into it. But that's so whoever is paired with Westwood, I think that is going to make the difference between where we finish this year in the league. That's just my personal experience, because defensively, offensively, there is something we're kind of like stuck in gear a little bit. But yeah, it's a good segue into what we'll talk about later, for sure. It's a good one.
We'll get into it. I'll stop teasing it. All right. I guess let's get into. We talked about some of the chances that the team had. I guess we should get into some of those, because there was at least one or both of them in the first half. I know there was an early privet header off a corner that was close, off the crossbar. I believe, did it go off the crossbar? But we had a good chance there. But then later in the first half, maybe you have it more top of mind than I do, but I know kind of toward the end of the first half, we had a nice little run there. I believe it was Toklamati took it and passed it off to Pep. Fires it right at the keeper.
Yeah, that's right, the 31st minute. And usually he's the guy that like does better in those situations, and just didn't. It was a really bad shot. Could have hit it low into the corner. And if we score the whole game can turn on its head. So missed that opportunity. And then I think like 6 minutes later, I think I got it marked 37th minute. Toklamati takes a crack and shoots it off I can't remember if it was actually the post or the crossbar, or maybe a combination of both.
Yeah.
So two big opportunities that we didn't bury, either one of them. And I think that, of course, came back to haunt us later.
Yeah. I mean, and with both of them in my memory, like, we had multiple runners. Like, whoever was taking the ball up to make that final pass had a plethora of options, which to me is a very positive thing. Like, when Pep comes up and shoots it, there was someone, I don't know if it was Vargas, was on the far right. I mean, if he wanted to do like a little crossover to him, which is kind of hard to play, whatever. But Pep was also wide open, so he should have taken the shot. But there was options there. Toklamati made a really nice pass for that one, and then the one I'm pulling up here where Toklamati takes a shot. I mean, it was the same situation. He could have
passed it to Vargas too.
Yep, Vargas was there.
Yeah,
Pep makes a really nice pass. Like, there was options there to take a shot, and it wasn't just one person. So really good attack, getting ourselves in really dangerous positions. But we got to finish those, and I think that's the frustration. Is this is not the first time we've had this conversation, is that we create chances at times and we just cannot finish them. The Pep one, like you said, hit it literally anywhere than like head high at the keeper, and it's probably a goal.
Yeah, I mean,
hit it low at the keeper, it probably goes in. Like, he's probably not getting. Like, I mean, it's just hitting it right at him to where he just has to throw his hands up and get at it is just the worst place to put it.
Pep knew too. He had his jersey over his head. He was just like, "Oh my god!" Yeah, I mean, it was bad. The funny thing is about these two chances, they both come from like Zaha, really, and through the middle of the field. So I know we've tried to kind of engineer some things to get him more in the middle, but it's that playmaking thing that happens. And the one of those comes off of a long ball up top to where like Toklamati would be, but it goes to Zaha, who's playing like as a forward there,
right,
or center forward. Able to trap the ball, and he's the one that lays it off to an on-running Toklamati. It's almost like roles were reversed there. Yeah. And then, I think the other one, Zaha, does a really good job of dribbling through the middle. And I'll say it till I'm blue in the face. The more we go through the middle, the better we're going to be. This out wide stuff is not working. And again, it kind of goes back to what I think is our kind of problem. But those two chances came from play through the middle.
Absolutely. And you can tell it looks so good when we actually do it well. It's rare, but when it happens, it is a thing. Is a thing to behold. How did you feel about how we played defensively? Again, knowing that we had some injury issues, we have some injury issues back there. Privet and Schnegg getting the start alongside Morrison and Byrne. Again, against a pretty dangerous New England team. Like, how did you feel like our defenders played in this match?
Not too shabby. I mean, of course, New England had a couple of chances, but if you go back, and again, I always suggest everybody at least go back and watch the highlights. Usually it's like 10 minutes long. Just watch that. And it's funny, the highlights there's not a lot of highlights in this one. No. There's not a lot going on. It was a very even game. But if you look at New England's chances, where do they come from? Top of the box. Where have all of our goals against and everything, where are they coming from? Top of the box. Mm-hmm. I'm just saying there's, again, we keep teasing this thing, but like their shots were coming at the top of the box. Like, I don't know what this, so I think it's not necessarily just the defense. There's other issues at play. That I think we need to try to figure out. And again, I don't know if I have the solution, but I see a pattern. And again, it happened in this game. Shots at the top of the box, some really good ones. Kleina did really good being in good positions this match on free kicks, on shots and everything like that. But we're still giving those up.
Yep, absolutely. All right, moving to the second half again. It's funny. At one point, the announcer said something along the lines of like, normally at this point in a 0-0 match, we are like looking for things to do to make it sound interesting because it's not interesting. But they're like, in this case, it is 0-0, but like there's plenty of action going around. So like, while there was no scoring happening, I mean, there were a lot of chances for both sides. It was an interesting match, but no scores to be spoken of. But anything early in the second half that jumped out to you? I want to talk about the couple things I want to talk about are subs and the Ashley Westwood yellow, because we got to talk about that in a minute.
Yes,
but anything before those two things toward the end of the match, and obviously we'll talk about the goal in a minute too. Anything before that you want to highlight from anything that happened?
I don't think so. I think I'm good.
Okay, so our two of our three subs come in the 78th minute. That's our first substitution. Is in the 78th minute. And to be fair, New England didn't make any subs till the 85th minute. There were no subs in this match for the first 78 minutes. We bring on Abada for Vargas and Bronico for Gianni. And then in the 90th minute, we bring on Archie for Tokomati. How did you feel about substitutions?
I mean, Abada doesn't need to be on the field. I mean, shit. I just don't. I don't get it anymore. The other ones, Gianni gets tired. You got a replacement. You got a fresh Bronico. It's got that motor. Archie, you might want to bring him in a little sooner. To do something. I don't know. So that would be my only kind of like, what's the point there? Like, what's the point?
Right. I was setting you up to just air my beef about it, which was mostly that Archie should have come in like 15 minutes earlier than he did.
Yeah.
I don't understand.
Give him time to do something.
I don't understand, because again, this is a match that we weren't playing quite as well in the second half as we were in the first half, but we were still creating some chances. We still were right in here with a chance to grab 3 points. Like I get, the Abada, Bronico, fine. I'm fine with both of those. Again, I wish it would have happened a little bit earlier, but fine. Those are fine. But like bring on Archie in like the 70th minute or worse, the 75th, but like somewhere in there, give him a good 20 minutes plus stoppage.
Yeah.
To have a run at it, to put a really energetic, aggressive player in the attack to see if we can sneak something in here and sneak away with a 1-0 win. Like, I don't understand at that point. If it's the 90th minute, why are we even being like, don't worry about it. It's not worth it now.
Exactly. And I don't know. I kind of have this pet peeve about modern football. Like back in my day, I hate when, but back in my day, like, if you were subbing in, you wanted every second on that field to make something happen. Nowadays, it's like, it's time to sub. All right, guys, let's come over from the corner. All right. Glad you're here. Ready? All right, change now. Get yourself ready. Got 15 minutes before you're actually going in. Like, what the hell? Like why does it take so long? Like, I don't understand it anymore. It's like, oh, you gotta, because players nowadays, they don't want to wear their shit anymore. Like, I don't know somebody have to explain this to me. Like, the game has changed for sure, but it's like, can't be wearing my jersey and you got to wear your penny and stuff. Like, I get it, but like, can't have my socks ready or anything like that. It's too constructive, I'm like, dude, I don't know if it's hey, he was going to go in at the 80th minute, but it just took him forever to get ready. I don't know. I wasn't paying attention to that, but I have noticed that. Like, you should be maximizing your time on the field because we need you to maximize your time on the field. So you getting ready, getting your socks, making sure the holes in the socks in the back are cut just right and got to pull it up. And like, that's another thing that bugs the shit out. But like, that
does bother me too.
It's weird, man. Like, there's no reason to bring him on in the 90th minute. There's no time left. He can't do anything. Was Tokomati hurt? Like, it really makes no sense. I don't get it.
Yeah. And I love Tokomati starting, but I love Archie coming in that final 20 plus or minus 5 minute area because he can really bring some energy. Mm-hmm. And he scored a bunch of goals in coming in that time. I mean, he's got the ability to do it. And again, this is a match that was winnable. You don't want to sacrifice the draw necessarily and throw all the things on the table for it. But switch out for a fresh striker, get some more attacking energy out there. Same with Abada. Like, I'm not even mad. I mean, I'm with you that I want to see Abada gone, but like with who we have on the bench, like, if Vargas is getting a little gas, doesn't have quite the speed out there, like, throw on some fresh legs and see if we can create some chaos. Like, I'm fine with that as well too. Like, at a certain point.
Yeah. These are these are like for like subs too. So it's not like we're switching out a offensive player for a defensive player or something like that and throwing caution to the wind. These are like for like changes.
Yep, exactly. So I'm good with all that. I just want it to happen sooner. If we're going to try to make a little run at some things here and try to create some late match action, like, let's do it. But maybe it's a Loco instead of Abada. But either way, it should be Archie way before the 90th minute, or just don't put him in. Like, at that point, it just feels kind of silly to bring him in at that point.
Yeah.
All right. The Ashley Westwood yellow card in the 82nd minute. If for some reason you didn't watch the match and see it, it's worth, I don't know if it's on the highlights.
I don't think it's on the highlights.
It was a low light, if anything. I will say this. Nate, who is a friend of the show, who sits beside me at soccer matches, who is a soccer referee, he likes to text before matches, like, what he knows about the ref and kind of his opinions on them. And I need to pull up the exact wording he used. I believe he said pretentious.
Oh,
I need to double check the word, but I believe the word he used for this guy was that he's very pretentious. And boy, did he live up to that. Like, the ref multiple times in this match made himself the star of the match, which I feel like is not his job. Even our Scottish color commentator on the broadcast was calling that out a few times, that he was making himself very much the center of attention, including trying to fix a divot at one point. Like, I don't know what was going on there.
Dude.
So he definitely, made himself well known in the match. And then particularly in the 82nd minute, when somehow Ashley Westwood, who has the ball, guy slide tackles in front of him, and Ashley jumps over him.
Yes.
And all appearances to just not crash into the guy, which he probably would have gotten a yellow card for doing that. He jumps over him, lands on the ground on his side or stomach, or whatever. Does not make any plea for a penalty because it was in the box. Right. It doesn't not make any plea. He just gets up to continue the play. And he gets a yellow card for simulation.
It's the dumbest thing I've ever seen. Like, I I can't believe it. Because to your point, if he's rolling around or throwing his hands up and like, oh my God,
sure,
he's literally jumping over players so he doesn't get wrecked, like, or he doesn't jump on the player. Like, the amount of people that flop constantly in soccer games, give cards for that. Like, it is, and the amount of people that go down in the box when nothing has happened. And no cards at all. But so I think you're right. The ref wanted to kind of make it about himself and, I don't know, prove a point or something. But it was so stupid.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. Yeah, I mean, I'm all for simulation yellow cards. Like I like that that's a part of the game now. That like if people are really trying to sell a penalty or a foul or a whatever, they should get penalized for trying to flop into a decision.
Yeah.
That was the most non-simulation situation. Like I thought when the card flashed out, I was like, oh, maybe he like stepped on him and I didn't see it. And so he's getting penalized for like making contact with the player that slid in front of him. And then I watched replay. Like, no. He did everything he could in his power to not touch the opposing player and to keep from hitting him and hurting him, and then got up and got a yellow card. And I just like, I don't know how. I don't understand. But that was just one of many situations in that match where the ref was very much making his presence known to players and fans alike. So that was an interesting situation. All right, I guess we should talk about the penalty before we wrap up this match. So we're 90 plus 5 or 6 in at this point.
Yeah.
It's getting a little chaotic at the end here. Yeah, I don't know how you want to break it down. It was there's just a lot happening here.
Oh yeah.
I'm pulling up the highlights so I can remember what all happened. That's why I'm stalling a little bit because it wasn't pretty before anything actually bad happened.
I mean, if you look at the play, I'm sick of this. If you look at the play, this starts with Abada not hustling to the fucking ball, gets beat on a header, and then literally stops running. Doesn't follow the guy who beat him in the air because he half-assed he loses the ball in the air, and then just doesn't follow the runner who ends up getting the ball. He's late getting into the box, and if they wouldn't have called a PK, the guy he could have and should have blocked the shot of ends up scoring the goal. So there's multiple things he did not do in this thing, and I am over it. I am over it. I know this is super critical. The guy did not score. Abada was it his handball, but I am over his shit, and I want him off this team. There's some rumors that he might be leaving. Yeah. I will start a GoFundMe. I need him off this team. Like, I hope he has a tremendous time wherever he goes. Because personally, he's never done anything to me. Nice guy, whatever. I hope he has an amazing career. I just need him out of here because I've had enough. Like my blood boils. When I saw this play happen, I was like, I can't remember. I was like, look at Abada's like just jogging back. Watch the replay.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I got there finally. I'm watching it as you're talking about it.
Now, it might be harsh, like, okay, he gets beat in the air. Okay, that's fine. He gets beat in the air, right? Off the header. But then watch him after the play. What does he do? Nothing. Jogging back. And that's our problem.
He pointed. I like to point out how our players point when they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing.
Right.
Like his guy just sprints and gets the through ball. Yeah. And no one's covering him. And Abada's pointing at him like that was supposed to be with him because someone else picked it up for me because I'm not there.
I've had it.
And to your point, I mean, and if you want to give him the benefit of the doubt, he stopped because of the whistle. But yeah, he was right in front of the guy who ends up scoring the goal that didn't matter. Mm-hmm. And the guy just like walks past him and gets the ball. Slots it into the net.
Yeah, I mean, you could say maybe he heard the whistle or like, I don't know.
To his credit, yeah.
I don't know. But still, I don't like it. It sucks. But I don't think this was a handball. I honestly don't know what a handball is anymore. I thought there was a rule, like if you're trying to, you're going to ground and you naturally have to protect yourself and hold yourself. Like, but again, it's who knows what a handball it is anymore.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, it almost feels like one of those that whatever they called on the field was going to stand.
Mm. Yeah.
Like, I think if he had called no penalty and they had not scored a goal immediately after, I don't think it would have been overturned.
Yeah, I think you're right.
That's my gut, is that it was just one of those calls where it's like, yeah, I mean, it hit his arm, and then it becomes a very subjective call of, was he in a natural position, or was he making himself bigger? And then I to your point, like, I don't know if we have a clear and obvious rule on that. I feel like Nate, again, not to keep shouting him out, but he started defending the call, not defending the call, kind of explaining the call a little bit. And we got into acute versus obtuse angles of the arm. So this is what we're getting to. But like, I mean, his point was that like his arm was a little bit behind him. So he's making himself bigger. It's not like it was right under him. But again, like it wasn't intentional in any kind of way, shape, or form. He was supporting his body as he was going down for a slide tackle. He knew nothing about trying to, make his body bigger and deflect it. But if that's kind of what part of what they're looking at is, that's why they didn't overturn it. But again, I think this is one of those that whatever the ref called on the field was probably going to stay. They weren't going to overturn it regardless. That was going to just be a judgment call there, and we move on.
Yeah, it's like I said, I think we were super hard done by it. Even handball or not, like, it's the 97th minute. We have a draw in the bag here. All you got to do is see out the game, and just one little play will cost you. And it sucks, man, because, like we're talking about, I actually thought we played pretty decently. This was a very even match, very even. And let me tell you, New England's a really good side. I had to actually, because they won, and everybody's kind of close, but they're in second right now.
Yeah.
So, I mean, but this is a tough loss, but one that I can't just be like, oh my God, we suck. I can't say that during this game. Now, if you want to stack those up against the other ones, yes, there's some concerns there. We've covered that, but can't get too mad about this one.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good point. Let's I'll dig in that a little bit. Is that New England's a team that's playing really well right now. They're starting pretty slow. Just looking back at it, since April 4th, they have, let me count them up, 5 wins and a draw in MLS. Their one draw coming against Miami, and they lost Orlando in Open Cup. But like outside of that, they're on quite a run right now. So this is a team that's playing really well.
Yep.
That came in hot and is a solid team. And so again, fighting for a draw against them on the road is not a bad situation, and it's just a really unfortunate way that one ended, for it to be no points for Charlotte in a game that they played another team pretty evenly. Again, I just feel like this happens. You always feel like this way as a fan. Like, I feel like it happens more to us than other people. But like, just feels like a very Charlotte way to lose a match right now. But yeah, I mean, it stings because it puts a bad taste in your mouth. Because if we walked away with the 0-0 draw there, we'd be having a very different conversation that's probably much more positive about, like, all right, that was finally something we needed to see from this team. They put together a good 90 minutes. Let's come home and get some more points.
If you look at our, if you look at our losses, we've lost twice to Nashville. Now, the home loss to them kind of stings. I wish we could have got something out of that.
Yeah.
Losing them on the road, okay. And then, so Nashville's first. They've only lost one game. And New England's second. And then Miami's third. And we played them to a 0-0 draw. I know, without my Messi and yada yada, but so it's, man, I was thinking about this today. This is a weird ass season so far to me.
Yeah.
It's weird. I don't know what to make of it. There's lots in the air about players coming and going. It's just a very strange time. But let me tell you how you can alleviate some of that, and that is to have a massive homestand with a lot of games in a row against some opponents that we could do well against, and also get some revenge against New England coming up in one of those matches. So,
also interesting schedule. How many teams we've already played twice by the time we hit the summer break. It's very interesting in that way. We'll play NYCFC a second time. We'll play New England a second time. We've already played Nashville twice. Just interesting scheduling. Yeah, no, I mean, those are all great points. And yeah, I mean, put in perspective, like this team is still, it's in a decent spot. You know, like the losses, you know, outside of Orlando, I think have come against good teams on the road. So, and we're, you know, they're 7th, you know, 1 point out of 5th. Like it's not, this is definitely, we're definitely not a sky is falling situation. But I think what I just need to see is a consistent run of solid performances. And I think that's what worries me, is that I kind of brought this up in the live show with a little more attitude than I probably meant to, but like, I don't know, like there's not been that many times that I feel like we've played well against an 11-man team. I think New England was one of the ones that I felt like we played pretty well. So I'll throw that in there and say like, yeah, that's one of them now. But there's been a lot of other matches where we just have looked completely outmatched in those situations. And so I kind of want to see this May. It'll be huge to get some points and also just play well and feel good going into this long break before we come back for the back half of the season.
Yeah, that's true.
All right, we've teased it long enough. Just go ahead and solve all our problems, please. What's what is the one I saw? I just saw a GIF of the pivot GIF in our Discord. So that's the only thing I know about this so far. So I'm excited to be schooled in what you have seen that might be going on with our squad.
Oh, I've got some notes. Just bear with me. And again, I'm not saying that I'm going to solve our problems here, but like it is something to be mindful of and think about. There's a couple things here. One, I think Pep needs to drop back more. Westwood is really the one that is coming back and kind of starting that play. I mentioned that earlier, kind of being like the quarterback. But we're having issues moving the ball through the middle. And I keep talking about this. Those middle three need to move more. I think what happens, though, is whoever's paired with Westwood, they sit kind of on this line side by side. And I think that's part of the problem. And kind of what I'm alluding to is this double pivot that we have. I think that might actually be the problem. But again, I don't know the solution, because do you have the personnel to actually change this? But, you know, I was kind of going through the pros and cons of the double pivot. But the thing is like, if you have Westwood being that playmaker, who's that next pass to? Is it Brant, Gianni? And then like, what can they do with it afterwards? And what pockets of space are they getting in? We keep talking about this. Like, yes, you got the ball, but you're not in a position to do anything else with it. So it goes back and we recycle it and everything like that.
Can I take you a step back real quick before you dig in? Maybe you're getting here. So if you are, I apologize.
Yeah.
For people who have not schooled themselves on soccer tactics, hypothetically, can you explain what a double pivot is? Like what, just from a tactics formation standpoint, what is the double pivot? Because I've heard this a lot, but I don't know if we've actually ever explained it.
Yeah, I mean, the funny thing is we've talked about it on the show quite a bit, like what it actually is, without saying, "Hey, this is the double pivot." Basically, you have kind of like two defensive midfielders sitting in front of the back line, basically. The pivot is they get the ball, they go forward, but a lot of it is to protect the back line. And this has worked for us in the past. You know, we had the season where we gave up, you know, very little goals, right?
Right.
But if you remember that season, we also didn't have anything going forward.
Right.
There's pros and cons to having this double pivot. And so that's basically what it is. But as I start reading some of this stuff off, see if you kind of have like an aha moment, because I sort of did. So we talk about the press. And so if you're trying to beat the press, a double pivot creates a numerical advantage against, you know, kind of like a single striker kind of pressing against you. It's supposed to add an extra passing option to bypass that first line. I'm going to stop there. That is what the pivot is supposed to do. So that was my aha first moment. And I'm trying to like go back to very basics here. So this is kind of like soccer 101. So I do apologize for people that know all this stuff, but like that's one of the ways to beat the press. It's not working, right? Like we're not good at all. So if you're employing something that's supposed to help with the press and it's not working, you would think maybe you would change. If the opposition attacks down the flanks, one of those pivot players often are forced to pull wide to help with the fullbacks. This leaves the remaining midfielder isolated against multiple central runners. Mm-hmm. Does that sound familiar?
A little bit.
So we talked about those shots at the top of the box.
Yeah.
That's where a lot of this is coming from. And some people have like, hey, that's a low percentage shot. And I agree, but they're going in. We're like, or you could get rebounds and everything like that. On the flip side, we are not doing that going forward. But I think I've talked about this on the show, like getting pulled out of position because our fullbacks are also bombing down the field. So it just leads to kind of chaos, all over the field. So we'll talk about like something else here too. So with the double pivot, we're talking about switching the play. Rapid diagonal switches can exploit a double pivot that has shifted too far to one side. Mm-hmm. And it's difficult for the two deep players to cover the entire width of the pitch quickly enough. Does that sound familiar? Like
a little bit.
I mean, again, I'm giving you basic, what this is supposed to be. So it's and the other thing too is like kind of like this passive defending, which is another kind of aha moment for me. Because they are often instructed to stay deep, as kind of like a shield in front of that back four, the midfield can become too passive, allowing the opposition to keep the ball easily in front of them without being challenged.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Maybe the double pivot is not working the way it's supposed to. Now, if somebody from the club, Dean Smith, Zoran, Bobby, wants to school me on how I am wrong, I am available. And I would love to hear it. Because from what I am seeing over and over again, the pivot is not working. So I want to know how it is, how they think it is working. And again, you have that with the combination of our fullbacks all out of position. And that leads to absolute freaking chaos. Mm-hmm. Leaves those gaps for those shots and everything like that. So I don't know. There are some solutions, and I don't know if those would work. You could invert your fullback and bring one of them more in the middle, but they have to be back. That means only one of them can go forward. And maybe we try to implement something like that. But again, I don't.
And we've seen that in matches. Yeah. We've seen us do that where we like one fullback has the go ahead to charge down wherever they want to, and the other one will come back and make like kind of a 3-back, set back there. So like we've seen us play that way. And I feel like in my memory has had some success doing that. But to your point, like any formation, any tactics you use are going to have, positives and negatives. I mean, there's going to be weaknesses in any kind of situation you do. The idea is that you account for where those weaknesses are and find ways to keep from having them be exploited. And it feels like we're not doing anything to stop the exploitation of the obvious weaknesses of that type of setup, because all the things you named are exactly what happened to this team. And it opens up the midfield in a huge way. And the press one is especially fascinating because it does make sense that, you're bringing more players back. So you should have plenty of options to pass the ball and get through that first line of the press and then, attack through the midfield. And we struggle so hard to get the ball past the press. It's
that
amazing.
It's that second pass. Now, when Tim Ream's on the field, he can bypass the midfield to get it to up to our wingers and forwards through the channels. We've seen that, and that's super effective. But you can't, he's not going to be able to do that every time. You can easily close that down if you set up correctly defensively. So it's that second pass. It's the pass to Westwood or Diani. They're not turning and facing. They're not progressive. It is run around, jogging, get the ball. It's like you're in a drill.
Yeah.
Right? You're pinging the ball. We've got possession. We only have 39% of the possession, but we're pinging it around and we're playing football. And so there's no turning and facing. There's no opening up your body to get the ball so you can go forward, because you got to get the ball in Pep Biel's. You got to get to his feet. That means he might have to track back.
Yep.
Further.
To make himself available. Yeah.
Carlos Hill does that. A lot of number 10s, they'll come back and get the ball, and then they can make a play. But here's the big but here. Do we have the personnel? And this is the conundrum. If Pep Biel is on the ball, who does he get it to? Does he play it over the top? Does he get it to the wingers? What are the other two midfielders doing?
Right.
And so I think the big thing is, who is paired with Westwood in that middle before you get to Pep? I think if you can unlock that position, we could be super dangerous, but I just don't think we have it yet. Both offensively and defensively, and I think maybe a DP spot there could be dynamite for us. But again, you got to get that little dude off this team and out of that DP spot. It's absolutely paramount that he comes off that spot.
Yeah.
He is really screwing up this team.
Yeah.
Taking up that position, or that designation. But
so you're saying that once again we have to throw money to try to replace Bronico. We have to throw more money at. I was kind of doing it as a joke, but yes.
No, and I want to. And I think someone else was kind of maybe had a question about that. Here's the thing: it's not a replacement.
I know,
and I'm not saying you're saying that, but it's not a replacement, because Bronico can fit in this team in different ways.
Yeah,
he could come on as a sub. He can start a game if we really need some bite in the midfield. We can go to a more conservative midfield, right? If we really want to keep everybody behind the ball. So it's not a replacement. It's basically like having a different look if we want to be progressive. Diani is offensively maybe a little better than Brandt, but not like leaps and bounds.
No.
I mean, because Gianni gets in this, he starts stuttering and doesn't know where he's going to go next. And there's no flow to it. Defensively, he's been great. I think he's been playing really, really well. So I'm not knocking him. We just need one more or two more levels in that position.
Yeah.
So
Gianni, when you see moments where he makes quick decisions and makes nice passes and does it, but then other times, we joked the match last season where he just glitched at the top of the he does have those moments where he's like, I don't know what's going on anymore, and so
it's too far in between.
Yeah,
and a lot of times he'll kill a play.
Yeah,
we need rapid movement, and he's sometimes too slow on the ball, and that's the thing. You got to have somebody super sharp. And look, Westwood, this could be his last season. We really need to think about that center mid position. But again, somebody's got to come off a damn DP spot. I still think we need a great winger, but something's got to give in the middle to spark this. Or I think we're going to struggle. But I do think having a look at that double pivot and that partnership with Westwood and Brandt, or Westwood and Diani, the dynamic has to change there. You got to do something tactically to switch that up, because they're too easy to defend. It's not helping with the press, and I don't think it gives you anything offensively. So it's kind of a weird situation.
Yeah, no, agreed. Since we brought it up, and since I've been asked to ask this question for 3 weeks in a row and I keep not doing it, and Philip's going to murder me. The related question to what you said, which is kind of a jokey version, but it's fun. He said, Philip Sanford, over the last 4 years, rank these 4 Brant Bronico replacements from best to worst. Because again, the running gag I feel like is we keep trying to bring players in to put Bronico on the bench. Not because we don't like Bronico, but it's because like he's good, but like we should have more quality. Sure. And to your point, in that starting lineup, there's just like that next step to be taken. But then Bronico just still keeps his spot. So his 4 that we're going to rank are Junior Urso, Scott Arfield, Eric Williamson, and Luca De La Torre from best to worst.
Best. I was going to say Williamson's dead last.
I knew that's where he was going to go.
The horrible signing. Luca Del Torre is him and Scott Arfield are like tied. Here's the thing: Junior Urso may not be the most skilled person, but that dude can hustle and play defense. And he's when you talk about having a bite in the midfield, that's the dude. So, and you need somebody like that on the team, not to start. I'm not saying Junior Urso is a starter, but I liked him coming in to close a game down, or if you had a team that you needed some muscle against, maybe take some shots at players, he was your guy. So I'm still trying to figure out how Luca is going to fit on this team. I honestly wonder if Pep is injured, do you slide Luca in that role? Because defensively, this dude is inept. I'm sorry, not sorry. Like defensively, Luca is just non-existent. To me, doesn't seem to hustle. Maybe I am wrong. Maybe he needs some more games. To be fair, he hasn't played all that many games yet. And we had to give Pep a little bit of grace too. So, but man, I don't know. And Arfield was a kind of a disappointment. I just think for whatever reason, we can't hit on these. We can't get the right player in there.
No.
We've got Pep. We got our number 10. I am totally cool with that. We have 100%. Ashley Westwood. I'm okay with him. Also aging out though. Right. It's the other dynamic. We just don't have it. The wingers as of today, before anybody's sold. I like Zaha. Vargas is perfectly fine. Oloko, great and all. And we have some youth too that could come up and play wing. I'm okay on the wing. If we get rid of Zaha, I need another DP winger, but that other DP spot that Abada is on, that probably needs to go in the midfield to solidify that.
Yep. I agree. I agree with your ranking, not to be boring, but that's I'm right on with you. I agree with you there. Yeah. So we'll see if we throw some more money at that problem and get somebody to actually fill that role. But I agree with you. I think that is the biggest need is just filling that last gap in the midfield. And this team could be very, very dangerous. So,
yeah.
All right. Let's get into some more of these listener questions. There's a handful. I'm just going to read about just our attack that are not incredibly positive. Bryant says, if we're going to play this kind of passive, non-attacking football, can we at least try to do some dirty dark arts type shit? There's also a lot of cursing in these questions. This is like these questions came in at 9:54 and 9:55 on Saturday night. So just know the headspaces were
aggressive.
Will says, why are our players too chicken shit to shoot the ball?
That's
and then so I'll actually, there's a couple of questions. David, good friend of the pod, David Gussler, says, first time listener, long time questioner. Says, why is Morrison our leading goal? Obviously, David couldn't be here this week, so I'm going to ask this question for him. Why is Morrison our leading goal scored in the last 4+ games? And why can't our 3 DPs and 2 U22 and 3, if you count former U22 DP Vargas, on the attacking side score any goals? And then the final one I'll kind of bring in that we can answer just the general attack question is from Matt Nolan. Do we have any clinical finishers on the roster that we should be feeding better, or do we need to prioritize one in the summer break, or both? basically the chances seem to be there, like we were talking about a little bit earlier. They're getting to these positions, and then there's the nothing's being finished. And right. I think there's also a lot of times, to one of the earlier questions, where no one wants to take the shot.
Yes.
I feel like there are often times where we see people deciding to make the pass, and especially the safe pass, rather than either putting the aggressive ball in or take a shot. So just generally, kind of, you get the gist of the questions all about our attack, especially over the past few matches. What do you feel like the issue is there?
Yeah, can I give you some stats real quick? So I was looking at shots. Please. And shots on target, and because I thought there was going to be a massive discrepancy. Now shots is a little, I'll just tell you. So for Orlando, Nashville, Atlanta, and New England, total shots 41 against 28 for. So we're being outshot by 10, 11, 12 shots.
Yeah.
But shots on target, this was the one I was like, oh, I was kind of like dumbfounded. Shots on target, 23-19.
Wow.
Now a lot of that.
Wait, we have 23 or the other teams have 23?
Other teams have 23 and we have 19. Okay. But it's very a lot closer than what I thought it was going to be. But level of competition. Nashville's good, okay, but you had Orlando and Atlanta in there. So that's the other thing, and I think maybe you have to factor in. Yes, it's close, but should it be close? No, right. And we're being outshot by those teams. So,
yeah.
But it is closer than what I thought. But to answer the question, people have to shoot the ball. Teams are shooting at the top of the box against us. We are not doing that. We seem like we want to walk the ball in. It would be nice to kind of maybe look at where our shots are coming from and do a segment on that. But we're not getting enough chances, not creating enough chances. And this last match, we had the chances. We just didn't finish them.
Right. And even shots on target, I mean, is, like we talked about, Biel's shot is a shot on target. It's not a good shot.
Right.
Right. Yeah. So there's a little bit of that too. Is I think the finishing it was most egregious in this most recent match where we had those two really clear cut chances to score a goal where you're 1-on-1 with the keeper. Like those have got one of those at least has got to go in the back of the net.
Yeah. We praise Pep quite a bit on the show for good reason. But also, you've got to finish that, man. You get paid a lot of money, and you're way better than that. I mean, we've seen how that dude could shoot, so that was poor. But he didn't have a lot of chances to score. Like it's not like he's missing chance after chance after chance. I'm not saying that, but we're just not creating enough chances.
Yeah. Matt Jones, I like that. We don't have to necessarily answer this question. I like this question: is what percentage of away games do we win if we play exactly like we did in the last game against New England? And I feel like that gets to what we were talking about earlier, is that take this in a vacuum, not with the vibes we already had coming into it.
Yeah.
And we play like this all 4 of those matches away, we probably come away with 4-6 points. I don't know. I think we have a much better road trip there.
Yeah, now remember, we're missing Tim Ream and we're missing Harry Toffolo. Now, Schnegg is pretty close, I think, to Harry, but Tim, I think, is a pretty big upgrade over Andrew. Andrew's had his issues, but so you got to keep that in mind for this game too. But I think playing like this again. Yeah, we didn't create a lot of chances, but neither did the other team too. I think the shots, especially shots on target, were the same. So,
yep. All right, I am going to scroll down. There's a lot of talking in the Discord, which is good. I love this, but it's making it hard for me to see where the actual questions
we need to keep it out of the question channel. And I was bad about doing that myself. So.
No, it's good. It's good. It's good. Just if I'm stalling, if it sounds like I'm stalling, this is why. We talked about it with Chris says, why is jumping to avoid being tackled and getting back up a yellow card? Great question. If anybody has the answer to that, please let me know. Scroll down. Hold Hold on. All right. From Nietzsche here. You can acquire 2 players from any MLS team except for Messi. She takes that one off. One has to be a regular starter for their team, and the other one has to be from their bench. That would be a starter for us.
Oh my gosh, that is very specific.
If you don't have a number 2, like I would have to do research on that because I don't have a number 2. Maybe we can come back to that and like maybe we ask it next week. If you don't have one, that would be from the bench because I don't know if I know other teams that well. So let's just maybe take the first one, unless you have an answer for the second one. Is if you had to pick a player from any other MLS team other than Messi, that's a regular starter for their team that you would like to immediately just plop onto our team and go from there, who would you pick?
I mean, I'm trying to look up some. Well, so here's the thing: like, do we want? This is where I'm having an issue. Do I want a forward to score more goals, or do I want to solidify the defense?
I can answer mine because I thought about this a little bit because I saw it come in. Like, I think mine is I want a goal scorer, so I went with Hugo Kuipers from Chicago, just a goal scoring, attacking forward. I just want somebody who's filling up the back of the net. And I feel like we've had some really good forwards. Like I'm not trying to knock Patrick and I'm not trying to knock Tokomati, but I feel like there's a difference in that kind of forward who is just like, last year Kuipers had 21 goals for Chicago. He already has 10 this year. He scored 34 in Europe before. Like this guy just fills up a score sheet. So like I want that like out and out just has a nose for getting the ball in the net forward, and see what happens. To the point we just were talking about, where like the finishing. I want somebody who's just a natural finisher and gets things in there. So he's the one that jumped out to me. So that's where I went.
Yeah, that's an interesting question. That kind of makes you like think like, what does this team need? And it's funny though, because we talk about like, oh, we need midfield. The double pivot maybe is not working. We give up too many goals. But then when you're like, what do we need? If you could get one player, you're like, score some goals. Score some goals. It is funny, but you know what though? There is some truth in that because good offense is a good defense. Like if you keep them on the back foot with a good offense, they can't get into a rhythm to come back at you. If you're controlling the ball, they can't do anything with the ball. Right. Yeah. And we talked about this. We're turning the ball over too much. Yeah. We're not creating enough. But if you have a good forward who's what is it? Surge from Nashville.
Yeah, Surge from Nashville is another one I thought about too. Yeah.
I mean, he's only played, I don't think he's played the full amount of games either. And I think he's like second or third.
9, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's like second or third and the scoring. But he's played less games, I think, than a couple of the other folks. But that's interesting, though. That's a good question.
Yeah. I think it's easy in a question like that. It's easier to see the immediate impact. Like if I'm just looking around the leagues, like who would have, it's the goal scorer. It's easy to look at the stat sheet and be like, we could bring in that kind of goal scorer and throw him in there. Where it's a little more nebulous of like the midfielder who would match the 2 others we have and kind of unlock that thing we have going on.
The only thing I could counter maybe though with this, would they be a good goal scorer on this team because they don't get the ball? Is Tokolomati getting the ball enough? Is Archie getting the ball enough? Would whoever we get be able to get the ball enough? So
it's fair. It's a good point. I will show someone did answer it in the chat as I'm scrolling down here. Philip Sanford said for the second, he said Sam Surge. For the one that's on the bench would be Kevin Sullivan from Philadelphia, and he says mostly to make Matt Swift irritated. All right, let's keep going down. We had Chris say Mukhtar and Schaffelberg for those.
I don't think we need Mukhtar.
Yeah, I don't think so either. That's why I think Surge, if we're going to take somebody from the natural attack.
Because we got Surge. Pep. So
yeah, exactly.
If we didn't, that would be a good choice, though.
Yeah, I'm scrolling down. We had the post about what you referenced earlier is that apparently a couple of championship sides are interested in Abada, which please.
Thank God. Take him, please.
We'll help pack his
Fire
bags.
sale. Yeah, man. Like, and that sounds so mean. And like,
I know it does. It's so mean.
But damn, dude. Like, I've had it.
Yeah. I mean, again, because I don't want anything bad to happen to him. I want him to go somewhere and do well, and I'd love to cheer for him. But it is just decidedly not worked here. And
not at all.
We got to cut ties. We got.
And here's the thing: if he scores a goal in the next game, I don't care. I don't care. And I know what's going to happen. He'll score and be like, "See, you just got to give him time and patience. He only needed 80 games to get a goal. Like you got to give it." Like I don't want to hear it. He could score. Yeah. I don't give a damn. Like I've had enough.
Jessica Charman did the thing on the broadcast this past weekend where when Abada's coming on, she said something along the lines of like, the fan base really hasn't been too excited about what he's done so far in his time in Charlotte, but now would be a great time to add one to the tally. I'm like, yeah, but it doesn't change anything, Jessica. Like, it'd be great for him to do that too, but it doesn't change.
Jess knows her stuff, man. And I thought it's always nice to have her cover our games, by the way. We're going to try to like, hopefully get her on the show soon. But she knows her stuff. And I mean,
yeah, she's great.
Yeah. But yeah, even if he like, all right, if you get a game winner, okay, I might buy you a little, but like I just too little, too late. And I just think some other midfielders and like again, I want to talk to some folks at the team, like Brandon Cambridge is in USL. I still think he's better than Abada. I know that sounds nuts, and I'm sure people at the team would think I am nuts. What about Yuri Tavares? I thought he was better than Abada.
Yeah,
and less than half the money. So
I think they're both better than Tiger Smalls too.
Oh gosh, man!
Sorry, we had to get one reference in here before we left.
Yeah.
All right, we do have a couple more questions. I'm going to run through these. We don't have to answer this, but I just like Matt Chantry says, how far would you be willing to go to get Abada to Norwich and facilitate the move? Pay for his flight, take a cruise with him, swim there with him on your back the whole way? Serious question from Keith. Over under for total points from this homestand. So we talked about the importance of this one. We've got four matches, 4 home matches in May. Mm-hmm. And then we take a 2-month break for the World Cup and come back in July. So what is your guess for number of points in this stretch?
Yeah, I'm pulling up the schedule now. So we've got Cincinnati, NYCFC, Toronto, New England, Atlanta. Other than that Cincinnati game, we should win all of these games. I mean, and I'm saying we could very easily beat Cincinnati. So so here's the thing. We've got to turn some things around, and we're at home. This is for me, this could make or break the season. Because if we drop points here, we are down at the bottom of the table. I will just say that. But again, Toronto is not that great. New England, I think we played them even. Now we're at home, get even. Atlanta is not very good. NYCFC.
Atlanta's in July. Atlanta's after the break.
So. It is after the break. Okay.
Yep. So New England's the last one before the break.
Okay. So I would say at least 9 points. You got to get 9 out of this group. Out of this 4.
Yeah.
Oh, hold on a second. No, 3, 6, 9. No, 12. No, hold on. 3, 6, 9.
There's 4. It's
9.
4 matches.
So, at least at least 9.
NYCFC,
I keep looking at the Atlanta
Toronto,
game.
and New England. I know it's confusing looking at the schedule.
Yeah. At least 9.
Yeah. I mean, I want to say that too. I was trying to be conservative and say like 7. But I really think realistically, maybe I'll say 8 is like worst case scenario. You get 2 draws, 2 wins. I think is worst case. I think ideally we get 9 is what we need. I agree with you there. I think I'd live with it if it was no losses, 2 wins, 2 draws, and we got 8 points. If we lose, if we're below that, I'm a little upset. So
I'm looking at the rest of the schedule. I know we have Leagues Cup kind of thrown in there. I honestly think if we can get and bust ass through this next 4, even the 5th game against Atlanta, I think we're off and running and could do well.
Yeah.
You know,
I think so too.
That next Miami is the very last game. New England is sitting in second. We can beat them at home.
Yeah.
We've already played Nashville twice, lost both of them. We don't have to see them anymore.
Yeah.
And there's some sides in that are struggling. We play Orlando again. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I think this, we got to get it. We got to get it while you can.
Yep, absolutely. All right, last question from Russell. Do you think the team turned a bit of a corner last week, even with the loss? Are you feeling better about where we're at because of how we played, or are we still kind of in the same spot we were last week?
I need to see how we do against Cincinnati in this home stretch. That's going to be like we are good to go, or holy crap, we are in bad shape, and we're going the wrong direction. And again, there's going to be some changes coming up with personnel. So, I wish I could say yes, I feel better, yada yada. But if you look at this game on the surface, like we talked about, I think we were hard done in this game. I think a draw is perfectly fine. We missed our chances. We could have won this game. Yep. So I feel good about the game, even though we lost. It wasn't like, man, we played like crap. No, we were in this thing. We had a chance to win. Late PK. So I can't be too mad, but like we said, you combine that with some of the other losses, not great.
Yeah. We're still not there yet, but it wasn't as bad as some of the other performances we've had. So awesome. I think that's all of our questions. Thanks everybody for asking questions. Again, if you want to ask us questions for the show, you can join us on the Discord by becoming a supporter on Patreon. The link's in the show notes, but just search us on Patreon. You'll find it. Do stuff there. We do the Secret Show sometimes. If you haven't listened to the Secret Show, we put it on the main feed a little while back. Really fun episode where David and Russell and Matt Chantry got together and just like did the guy thing where they just like talked about some guys. They just remembered some dudes. Which I really enjoyed. So if you need a little bit of a palate cleanser from talking about how the season's going, you can remember some of the crazy players we had in the past. And what they're doing now. So check that out on the main feed if you haven't listened to it yet. It's a fun one. But then again, we appreciate support on Patreon to help us make this thing happen. And again, appreciate all the questions and all of that. Anything else, Matt, before we get out of here?
I think that's it.
All right. Thanks everybody for listening. Let's hope for 3 points back home at the bank on Saturday night. And we'll be back with you to talk about it next week. See ya.
See ya.